I'm the Headless Headhunter. I'm a corporate recruiter here to get you ahead of your job search by reviewing your resumes. So the resume we have up first is a software engineer full stack. Something is off about this resume because I actually did a meter yeet and it wasn't bad. So I think it did actually pass the meter yeet test. So something is beyond just the bullet points messing up with this resume, because I believe it has most of what we need. Now, there was a couple of issues with it that is going to tank their chances. And the reason I know this because they wrote they had 150 plus. This means it takes them over 150 to get an interview. So here are the problems of what it could be. This is 150 applications to get an interview. One, you stated open to relocation. This is an immediate red flag in a lot of jobs, is you never want to just say open to relo. Relocating, even if the company doesn't pay you anything, is a giant yellow flag. There are a lot of people that will not move you forward if you are open to relocating. I know that sounds insane, but the reason for that is a lot of the times baby recruiters, so new recruiters, will go and be like, oh, they're open to reload, this is fine. And then by the time it comes to relocate, they don't do it. And most managers have dealt with that. So we don't like you to just say open to relocation. We need you to prove that you're open to relocation. And the way to do that, and this is one of the few times you actually want it, is a very small summary that says moving to X by Y, can move sooner if needed. This shows that even if you don't get this job, you're moving to the area, so they know you're serious about it. So that's one thing that could be messing you up. The second is always double check your phone number and email. The amount of times that I've had people put the incorrect information and they've not gotten anything based on that because I could not contact them, huge. Third, if this person is an international student and they need assistance with visas, that's going to take your chances, and there's not a ton I can do about that, unfortunately. If you need a visa, you're going to need to apply to about 3 times as many jobs. So while a resume would normally be like a 1 in 25, yours, because you would need a visa, is going to be a 1 in 75. So those are the couple of reasons that it could be wrong. The other ones is you don't have cloud. Oh, here it is. Yeah, okay. So your formatting was slightly off, and you have a couple of extraneous stuff, which is probably causing people to miss it. So for what I'm looking for in a software engineer is a full stack is this. So TypeScript, JavaScript, CSS, HTML, that is definitely it. And then either Java, Spring Boot, Kubernetes, or Python, Django, and Docker. Then Node, Angular, Next.js, SQL, React.js, API REST, Cloud, Agile, CI/CD, cross-functional. Bonus points for that. So I did find most of that. I found React, I found JavaScript and TypeScript. So I don't know why you put it like this. This should be a comma. This is fine. I would have preferred a little bit more about what it is, but this is a fine first sentence. RESTful API with Spring Boot is good. Actually, here's a little bit of an issue, is I see a lot of stuff with Spring Boot, but I don't see anything with Java. So typically you want this or this. And it might be because you only have Spring Boot that they're not moving you forward. So if anything, I would just remove the Spring Boot. Because I see Spring Boot and I think I saw Docker. In addition, I think the formatting here is slightly off, which is causing people to miss it. Because I know people may not believe this, I am pretty good at tech recruiting. I know I'm not the best ever, I'm not going to claim that, but I know more above average than most recruiters do about tech. And based on the fact that you have Spring Boot here and not the other stuff, they may not move you forward. So I would remove the Spring Boot API, in fact, and keep the AWS, and the AWS could be up top. Because I don't see Java. Because remember, I'm going to need Java, Spring Boot, Kubernetes. And I found Spring Boot and Kubernetes, but I did not see Java. Or Python, Django, and Docker. But I see Docker. So I'm going to need you to pick one of those. And even then, that's mostly in the EU. If you're in the US, I don't think you really need any of these. You just need either Java or Python in addition to that. So I don't see Node. Again, I'm also super tired right now, but or MongoDB, but that should be okay because you have the rest of it. So this formatting is probably off a little bit. I want you to use this one. Nothing here should be bolded. And I really think that you need to double check the stuff up here in your contact information, because it's possible that's wrong, or because you're trying to relocate, that's also wrong, or you need a visa. Again, I don't know enough about you because you did not write anything. The only other thing that could hurt your chances that I would like to talk about, because this works for everybody, not just software engineers, is the ATS. Now, there's a lot of misinformation about the ATS. They say it scans your resume for keywords. It does all this crazy stuff. The ATS is rejecting you. And the answer to that is not really, but yes, but no. So ATSs sort the most common base setting for ATSs, such as Workday, Taleo, ADP, all those ones, the ones most in the market, are first come, first serve. So if you are applicant number 175, they may never see your resume. So you need to apply early and fast. And the faster you apply, the better your chances. So those are the reasons I think this person has some of the skills, but is not getting interviews, is one of those reasons. So it's relocating, it's a visa issue, the contact information is incorrect, or they're applying late. And the formatting, again, the formatting can be fixed, but it shouldn't give you 150 plus, right? The formatting would take it from a 175 to a 1 in 50. But this is not the worst formatting. So something else is messing with this resume. And I want everybody to remember, please double check your phone number and contact information. If I cannot contact you, I cannot help you. So, and apply early and fast. The faster you apply to a job, the better your chances. Because once we find the right number of candidates, we don't keep moving. Like, why would we? I found 13 candidates in the first 100 applicants. Why would I keep moving? There's no point to that. In fact, it is good recruiting to do it in a first come, first serve basis, and just move through the list until you find the amount you need, and then you stop. So let's, before we go to the next resume, please hit the bell, like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps me out. And let me know your stories about terrible interviews in the comments below. I would love to hear some of your terrible interviews. Maybe I could offer my insight on it. And also, it just, you know, I like them. So, not that they happen to you, but there's a lot of interesting stuff. I did not have a ton of them when I was recruiting because I made sure the managers were doing the right things. So, and if you need more help, come on to my live stream at twitch.tv/headlessheadhunter every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 p.m. PST to about 2 p.m. And let's go to the next resume. This is a administrative assistant, and this is, I think, their third or second go, one of those, so let's begin. All right, so first off, if you graduated in 2011, I just want to see status graduated, okay? I don't know if I need the GPA for this or not, because it's been so long ago, so I would actually just put status graduated. Second, there is too many lines here. In fact, I would just keep it. I know you had some other stuff here, but I would keep this. Remember, this should be one line if you can fit it. So you could just say native English teacher at 3 South Korean schools from Feb 2023 to March. So, but what we're going to be looking for an admin assistant, again, my brain is super tired. Education, Outlook, MS Office, Excel, Word, PDF, PowerPoint, Zoom, Microsoft Teams, etc. Multitasking, attention to detail, no spelling errors, setting up meetings, editing, calendar management, travel arrangements. All right, so created, the gap here is too big, not like work gap, just formatting wise, but it's not a huge deal. Created lesson plans and learning materials using Microsoft Office. While managing both students and my schedule, so definitely meet learning deadlines. Good. 2 increment teachers scheduling the facility weekly team meetings, according to hands. Constantly receive feedback from Cameron schools by telling them to keep updated with. So, I know we were on the fence about this, but now that I'm seeing this and its whole thing, I don't know if you need this. If anything, I would kind of delete this. I think it may add 1 or 2 things, but I really want to see it lower. So I'm actually okay with deleting this part from project schools to telling them and keeping them updated about curriculum. So consistently receive positive feedback from parents and school officials by telling them and keeping them updated. This is not. I want to bump this up a little bit. Curriculum progress. I would start this with the skill. So I would say updated parents and school officials by about the curriculum progress, event plans, and scheduling or whatever, which resulted in a large amount of positive feedback. But otherwise, we may even be able to delete this. Then, multitask to oversee daily operations. Good. There's something off about your formatting, and I don't know what it is, which included entering data from multiple horse registration forms using AS computer systems. So, I don't know if we need AS 400 computer systems or not. I would say multitasks. See, because multitask to oversee is kind of a weird sentence. I want to see instead oversaw daily operations, such as data entry for registration forms using our computer, and then you can put AS 400. But if anything, you may not be able to just use computer, while ensuring information was grammatically accurate and complete. And I would add grammatically. Then fulfilled merchandise orders, tracked accounts, prepared information about payments at the end of the day. Again, so here's the thing is I just don't see people asking specifically for this part, but this stuff is good. So communicate with other team members for updates on office projects, events, registration by using Google Teammates. Good. Support CEO. See, if I think this should be higher. I think this is more important. So customer service. Yeah, so it's still a little wordy. And something about the formatting is off. I'm not sure why there's so much space in between these, or the words themselves, but I don't know. Something's a little off about that. But a bigger issue is I think it's still a little too wordy. I think it's better. And I know you've only applied to a couple of jobs using this, which I think you've gotten 1 or 2 interviews from it already, so we know it's working, but let's make it work even better. So I think that's all I can say right now. I'm going to help this person on my Twitch chat a little bit more so they can get more than just the interview they have. But I know they were, and let me actually check, because when they submitted this on the I think 19th or so, they had submitted about 35 different applications, and I think they've already gotten about 2 interviews for it, so it is working. We just want to make it a little bit better, but I think honestly if you are getting that much, then it's still good enough. So that's all I can do for this one. I'm going to help them out more in chat, and let's go to the next resume. This is a resume review of a software engineer intern, backend. Although I will say in this case, for software engineers, unless you are a master's or a PhD, you can do any of them. It's mainly when you're doing full-time that you want to pick a stack. So once you are ready to graduate and you are ready to apply to full-time jobs, that's when you want to pick a stack. But for interns themselves, you can be whatever. I know it's a bit weird, but this person actually has a pretty solid ratio, so I'm expecting this to be good. They have a 1 in 50 ratio. So, yeah, let's check it out. Let's see. So we just need a basic knowledge of tech stack, language library, SQL Cloud, that kind of stuff, ability to work well with others, and take direction and criticism. So formatting is off, but not horrible. Again, I would rather someone have better bullet points than perfect formatting. So this should be 1 line, and you could probably make it 2 because you may have to put the dean's list, but nothing here should be capitalized. Then nothing here should be capitalized. But let's see. So orchestrating development. So this should be orchestrated. Everything should be past tense, even if you are still there. It just makes it flow better. So orchestrated development of automated workflows using Python. Good. Python for weekly deployment metrics, retrieval across SQL. Okay, I don't really care about this part, but the first part's okay. Integrated automated Azure DevOps pipelines. Good. We have Azure. We have DevOps. I don't know why they like seeing it, but they do. Develop logs using Python and Bash scripting. Good. I would prefer a little bit of like maybe SQL, and maybe a library, but we have Azure and they're gonna love that. So backend software developer. Is this an internship? I would make sure they know this is an internship. Also, again, it should not be bolded. So worked with a diverse group of engineers on X project, leading the design and development of the backend system over a 12-week period. An engineer to Python using Fast API. Good. Yeah, these are pretty. Oh, here it is. Yeah, data structure, algorithm codes. These are pretty solid. I would prefer something where you worked with others, but you kind of already proved that. project. So this is not bad. You have the way I would prefer just a single, like, how you took direction and criticism worked well with others. But otherwise, I think this is solid. If you're getting 1 in 50, if that's true, that's really good. Like, to be clear, a 1 in 50 ratio is solid, especially for your type of role. It's just how it is, right? Like, you're not going to be able to get like a 1 in 3 as a software engineer intern. It's hyper competitive. So, instruction fundamentals. You have some machine learning. Yeah, I just wish it was formatted slightly better and you had a little bit more of the keywords, but I don't think it's bad. I think this is close to what they're looking for, and I wish this was spelled out for me a little bit clearer, but it's not bad. So, assuming the 1 in 50 is accurate, I think this is solid. You just need to fix the formatting. You need to add how you took criticism specifically and fix things, and you can put it up here. And there's a little bit of extraneous stuff, but it's not terrible. So if you apply early and fast, a 1 in 50 for this is good. That's like a B resume, right? If you were a full-time role, a 1 in 50 would be a C-, but as an intern, that's a B. So different types of jobs are going to have different ratios, which are common or not. So, and the internships are incredibly competitive. So this is not terrible. I just wish there was a little bit more about how you took criticism, but I do like that you can work well with others by the fact that you taught students between 10 and 16. As someone who has done that before as well, that shows a lot of social stuff. Those kids can destroy you if you do not know what you're doing. So let's go to the next resume. This is a resume of a full-stack software engineer. Admittedly, this person is in Canada, and these are the United States keywords. There may be some slight differences, but should be close enough. So what we're looking for is TypeScript or Python. I don't want you to write, in fact, I realize this has been confusing people, is they've been writing it like this. So I don't want you to write it like that. I just want you to write it like this. And I'm going to have to change that. It should be TypeScript or Python. The little slashes are how I decided you need one or the other, but I'm just going to put it all like this for now. So TypeScript, Python, JavaScript, CSS, HTML, Node, Angular, Next.js, MongoDB, SQL, React.js, API, REST, Cloud, Agile, CI/CD, cross-functionally, and bonus points for architecture, extra language, and Git. This person has about 100-to-1 ratio, which is not great. So let's see what we can do to improve it. I'm expecting some issues, but not unsalvageable. That's usually what that leads to. So, this should not be bolded. And I do not need this coursework. That can be deleted. There should not be a line under this. This should be one line, and nothing here should be bolded. Absolutely nothing in this section should be bolded, except the work history itself right there. So, and that should also be one line. But I like the fact that you complete on the Dean's List. That's solid. And developed enterprise-level apps using 400K users using Java, Scala, JavaScript, HTML, CSS. I don't really care about Scala, but this is a fine sentence still, even with the Scala. In fact, the only thing I would change it is reverse the order, is just say used Java, JavaScript, HTML, CSS to develop enterprise-level apps used by X amount. So I think this should be first. Enhance code modularity, and by implementing nothing here I need. This is a very specific niche type thing, so unless you're applying for that niche, which I think is like Android or iOS development, it's been a bit, you need that, otherwise you don't need anything in this sentence. Reduced web payload time by 30% by optimizing PostSQL is good, REST API payloads. Again, this is a little long. In fact, you could just say reduced web page load times by using PostSQL and REST API. You don't necessarily need the 30% because the 30% does not give us any context on if that is good or bad. Increased test coverage, units, and performing API tests with Postman. This is not needed because you already used API. So the way it works is it's okay to repeat the same keyword, but you don't want to repeat it in the same job. So repeating this stuff, with the exception of Scala here, in here is good, but if you repeat it again here, it's not as needed. So you ideally want this to be repeated here and not here, and you already mentioned API. Is there anything there that I'm missing? Probably Node and Angular, but it's possible you did not work on those. And Cloud. No, yeah, Cloud is great. So this is what I really want, is supported 7 live releases on an AWS environment. In fact, I think you could combine this sentence right down here with this one, which is used blah, 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 and AWS to develop enterprise apps and an blah, 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 blah. Sorry, still exhausted. Let me rephrase that. Supported 7 releases by using Java, JavaScript, HTML, CSS in an AWS environment that was used for an enterprise level app that was used by 400k users. So those should be combined. And it's okay to have a bullet point that's longer than 1 line. You don't need everything to be 1 line. HTML and JavaScript, good. I don't think I care about this. This is okay, but I really want more. It's kind of wordy and there's not a lot here. This is really good. I like this one. This one's good. Guided products on Salesforce adoption. I don't know if there's anything here, but kind of like this part. I think that's good. And then agile development, you already mentioned area. So it just, there's a lot of extra stuff. I think you need to shrink this down. You're going to have a much better chance. So again, we want to fix the formatting. Nothing here should be bolded. Nothing here should be bolded. This sentence needs to be wrapped into this sentence. This sentence doesn't need to be here. And this sentence is also probably doesn't need to be here, so I'll probably need a different sentence. The other stuff is good. So it's not bad. It's just the formatting is a little off and it's kind of hard to read it because remember, I have 15 seconds to look at this and I don't need any things that I'm not looking for, which unless you're applying for like, I think it was Android, then I don't need this. So that's all I can do for this one. And let's go to the next resume. This is a resume of a full stack software engineer or a machine learning engineer. This person stated, should I have different resumes for both of these? Yes, you should. Absolutely need to. Or will this resume work for both? It will not. I can tell you already, you always want your resume to be for a specific role. Now, there is a case of maybe you could apply for jobs that require full stack engineer with a bit of machine learning, but these are 2 separate resumes, so I am not judging this on machine learning. I'm going to be judging it entirely on full stack because a machine learning engineer, which I believe I have the keywords for as well, let me double check my list, which was machine learning, yes, are going to be very different. So these are the keywords for full stack, which I don't need to repeat because the last one was this is the keywords for a machine learning engineer. And you can see those are very different. There's a couple of similarities in that it both wants Python and cloud, but yeah, so those are different. Definitely have different resumes, and let me begin with a full stack. So this person has a 150 to 1 ratio, which is very bad, so something is awful in this resume, and let's see if we can't find it. So your formatting is awful. This is hard to read. You need to use this formatting. It needs to be Arial 10.5. You do not need these to be 1 sentence long. They can be more than 1 sentence long. That's fine. But this needs to be 10.5 Arial. This needs to be 10.5 Arial with a 1.5 spacing. And nothing here needs to be bolded. Nothing here needs to be bolded. So, in addition, if you are requiring a visa, you are unfortunately going to have to increase the amount of applications you need. Even with a visa, you should not be getting 1 in 150. You should be getting like 1 in 75 to 1 in 100 ratio, because visa candidates are always going to have a harder time searching for a job. So, don't care about this. This can be deleted. This should be 1 line. Don't care about this. This should be deleted, but this should be 1 line. And again, no bolding. Graduate student and researcher lab. All right, contributed to research and interactive AI. Okay. Nothing here. LLM. Again, nothing here I would need for a full stack. Again, maybe there's a couple of these for machine learning, although I doubt it. I think the only thing I really cared about was the LLM and the AI here. But this is not what I'd be looking for, and this is why you need two different resumes. So full stack, developed a large-scale project for thousands of users. That's nice, but I need to know what you used. Familiar using React, good. Don't care about the rest of this stuff. This is garbage. Implemented AWS hosting on EC2. So AWS is going to be a keyword, and EC2, not ECT, might be a keyword as well, along with SQL is, but the rest of it isn't. Django, don't care. So yeah, here's my problem. I don't see almost anything I need. I see SQL and I see cloud. Where is your TypeScript, Python, JavaScript, CSS? Where is your Node, your Angular, Next.js? Where is your Agile? Where's your CI/CD, your cross-functional, your React JS? Any of this stuff, your APIs. There's no. Okay, here's an API, and that's it. Yeah, this is absolutely not going to work for a full stack engineer. There is nothing here I would need besides the AWS and the SQL, and then at the very bottom I found the RESTful APIs. That's it. That's all I found. I need this stuff. This is what I need for a full stack engineer. Now, if we were judging this based on the lens of a machine learning engineer, this is the stuff I need. And I don't even see Python in your anything, dude. Is there any Python? Can I even search for it? Way down there. And guess what? It doesn't count because it's right here. Anytime a skill is not in a bullet point under a job or an internship or a project, and you do not tell me how you used it and the reason or result you used it, it does not count. So this does not count. There is absolutely nothing here for any of the types of jobs I would be looking for. I found maybe 10% or less of the keywords, and I need 75% to move you forward. So pick a resume you want, and then make two of them, because one is going to be full stack, one is going to be machine learning, and these are the machine learning keywords. Again, I would screenshot this, and then these are the full stack. And then your bullet points need to show how you use these and the reason or result you use those, or else it does not count. That is why I despise skills sections, because they do not count. You send a person in that only has it in the skills section and nothing else in the resume, guess what? You're going to get rejected. That's exactly what happens to baby recruiters. Baby recruiters see those skills sections and say, oh, they have it. They send it over, and the manager goes, no, I need to know how they used it and the reason or result. And then it gets rejected. So you need these, and then redo all of those. And honestly, you would probably have to redo this entire resume. There's like nothing here that's salvageable. So follow my guide, please, 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 because this is going to cause you problems. I don't want you to just send your resume to the void 150 plus times before even getting an interview. So you don't have what we're looking for to move you forward. A resume is not a document that shows how good you are. It is, by every single metric, a minimum qualification document, and you did not show you met the minimum qualifications, and because of that you got rejected. So that's all I can do for this resume. Everybody please hit the bell, like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps me out, and if you need any more help, join my Twitch live stream, twitch.tv/headlessheadhunter, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 11 to about 2 p.m. PST, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video where I can help you get ahead of your job search.